Hello, welcome. You're listening to season 2 of Narcolepsy Navigators, brought to you by Naps for Life Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy Navigators is a podcast for raising awareness of this fascinating illness through a deep dive into the lives and individuals living with narcolepsy and idiopathic hypersomnia. I am Tre Burge, the founder of Naps for Life Narcolepsy, and welcome to our stories. Hi, welcome. This is Narcolepsy Navigators. I'm Kelly, your host. Today we have Tre from the United States, and our topic today is advocacy. Tre, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, if you don't mind, what country are you residing in, and what year you were diagnosed?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tre Burge. I'm from the United States of America. I got diagnosed with cataplexy, Narcolepsy Type 1 at the age of 18, and I currently live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Can you share a bit about your narcolepsy journey, highlighting any challenges that you experienced along the way?
Yeah, now that I have my diagnosis, there's just conversation about remembering your symptoms before you even got diagnosed. So me being 26 now, it's crazy to look back and think, oh man, that was narcolepsy. All these moments, these sleeping spells, cataplexy, the sleep paralysis, right? I encountered all those things at different stages of my life. And I remember being 18 and getting that diagnosis, how much of a weight was lifted off of my shoulders, but it was also very scary to navigate, right? I'd like to say that the way I got diagnosed was a blessing. I graduate high school and I go to this vocational school called Job Corps. And I'm just freshly 18. It's a new place. It's hot outside. It's in the summer. And I'm sitting there learning about how this program works. Okay. So imagine this. For the first couple weeks of the program, each week you're learning something different about how the program works. The first week you're learning about how the different careers work, the different trades. You can learn how to be a CNA. You can learn how to be a network cable installer. You can learn how to do medical billing and coding. Certain Job Corps places that offer so many different types of programs. It's such a dope program for youth to be able to get themselves some skills and certifications in different areas. That was my journey, right? I graduated high school. I go to Job Corps. The first couple of weeks of this program, it's hot outside. It's a new place and my symptoms are acting up. I'm sitting here. The sleep paralysis is getting me. The excessive daytime sleepiness is getting me. I'm learning all these new things. My first week teacher, okay, the way this program works is they switch out teachers on a weekly basis because new students come into the program every week, okay? Imagine that, okay? New students come into this program every week. My first week teacher, she pulls me aside later that week, says, hey, my husband does the same things that you're doing. His face does that too. Yes, he has narcolepsy. Have you ever heard of narcolepsy? And I was saying, no, what? I've heard of it in passing. I remember a teacher in high school probably bringing it up once, but at that time, I wasn't even focused on that. So I'm sitting here and I love shouting her out. Her name is Krista Tedrow. She pulls me aside, says, hey, my husband does the same thing. He has narcolepsy. I'm like, oh, cool. So you telling me the reason why I can't stay awake and learning what I'm supposed to be learning is because of the sleep disorder, right? I think you should get that checked out. So we book an appointment with the wellness center. And about 3 months later, I get the MSLT, the multiple sleep latency test. It's such a crazy experience being there, having all these wires hooked up to me. In layman's terms, you dream rather quickly, like you are getting any type of restful sleep. And that's narcolepsy. And I'm telling you, like if Kristen never would have, if I would have never been at that program at that moment in time, fortunate that this woman had a husband with narcolepsy. Okay. It's wild to think that was the beginning of my journey with narcolepsy.
So how did your family take it when you came home and you told them what the lady said at the camp and stuff? Were they like, yeah, definitely we should go get you tested and everything? And after your diagnosis, Did you find that they were very supportive and came on board really quickly?
Actually, let's say there's two truths to this, right? One, because I have to understand that they also weren't that educated on narcolepsy. I did not feel that
Mhm.
support from my family at the time. It was 2015. I'm like, hey, I have this sleep disorder. None of them knew jack squat about this. Okay. None of them knew anything about it. So the type of support that I was wanting from them, I didn't really get. And also the way the program worked, the job corps program worked, I was there for a while. I got diagnosed in August, January. Didn't go see my family till that November. Hey, guys, I have a sleep disorder.
So you got diagnosed while you were away. So you didn't come back home to
Yeah,
do at your local doctors and stuff. You did it while you were away at this place. Oh, wow.
correct. They didn't laugh at me in a sense, but they're like, yeah, boy, we know. They shrugged it off. And I think about it now, and yes, it didn't feel as good at the time, but I really do think it was just a lack of education. I think 'cause what I do now as an advocate, young entrepreneur and business person with narcolepsy, I try my best to bridge that gap of how people understand narcolepsy. At the time, I just wanted sympathy and empathy from them, correct? And they didn't know the gravity. They didn't understand the gravity of what this could be, which I think this is why I so hard to reduce the stigma, right? They understand the gravity of it. So the type of support I wanted from them, I didn't get initially. I didn't get that from them.
How long do you think it took before you could see that they were starting to understand a little bit or starting to get on board?
I think they're just now getting on board almost 10 years later.
Uh, it took a while.
Yeah.
I'm glad they have finally, because I know there's lots of people with narcolepsy who are in situations where they are not getting support from their family, and the misunderstanding of
Uh,
it and the miseducation
mhm.
is, yeah.
Rampant.
You said that you moved
Yeah.
away for work.
So basically, those were my college years. I only
Okay.
saw my family during holidays.
Okay.
Let's see, 2015 all the way to 2019. I saw my family maybe once or twice a year. So there wasn't necessarily, couldn't sit with them for long periods of time and try to get them to understand the gravity of it. That's why I'm glad I do what I do now. I make videos on the internet saying what's going on and trying to appeal to that emotion. I was even scared to call my family members up and let them know that I fell. So up until this point, even my brothers first took my narcolepsy as a joke too. They just, that's what brothers do. They mess around with each other. And
Mhm.
it's just now getting to the point where I see it click, the light bulb in their head goes, oh snap, my brother is experiencing this thing that affects his life detrimentally. And I think it helps that I'm making these videos. I'm a designer, right? I'm an educator as well. Invited my brothers out to the fashion shows because I have a narcolepsy awareness clothing brand, a sleep disorder awareness clothing brand. And they get to see what I do and how much passion I put into raising awareness. I think it's clicking now as opposed to me just having a conversation with them. I think having multiple ways, if there's like a tool guide for advocacy, right? I'd say find multiple ways for your family to engage with the idea of sleep disorders. Not just you telling them, but maybe show them Julie Flagler with
Mhm.
Project Sleep had a TED talk where she talks about her narcolepsy, right? So just,
Yeah.
I find myself showing different types of media.
Do you think your creativity has helped you process your own emotions around narcolepsy as well as advocate for yourselves?
Course, that's how I think it's clicking with so many people now is because I'm able to find different avenues to express myself. And basically how I relate to my own emotions too. It helps me make sense of the world that I live in. I grew up watching cartoons and different TV shows, and I've always had a wild imagination before I got diagnosed. So being able to write poems and draw pictures and share stories where I can express myself helps me maneuver the world differently, right? Kind of, and now it feels like I'm telling a tale, right? story of a brave warrior who just so happens to have this sleep disorder. That is so much easier than to say, I have this chronic illness that is super debilitating. And it's easier to tell that story. And that it also helps with the kids. I work at a school as well. It also helps when I talk to them about it. I say, Mr. Tre, why is Mr. Tre sleeping? I'll say, my dream box is broken. That's what I say to them. My dream box is broken, and sometimes it randomly drops dreams. And when those dreams do drop, because our body's trying to keep us safe, my body stops moving and goes to sleep. My big thing, I created a company called Wake Up Entertainment. It's WAIQUHPENTNT. And what I've noticed is there is not a lot of digestible media out there for sleep disorders. Oftentimes you look into narcolepsy, the sleep disorders, and the content of it's boring. That's not to judge the content that's out there. We need as much content out there as possible, but there's content that's not as engaging for younger audiences. Then there's also content that is harmful. It has the lack of respectful representation too. Yes. So I created Wake Up Entertainment for the sake of, oh man, like the stuff that we see on TV, the stuff that people with narcolepsy are complaining about, we should create the media we want to see. Those jokes that are badly written about narcolepsy, let somebody with narcolepsy tell that joke, right?
Yeah.
Let somebody with narcolepsy write that character in that book. It sounds so far-fetched, but I'm so ready to. It first started off, you see my shirt, it says Sleppy. It started off as a clothing brand called Sleppy, and now the idea of, it's misspelled and it's fun and kooky, and those people asking me like, why is it spelled wrong? And I'm like, it's not spelled wrong, right? It's just Sleppy. And I eventually wanted Sleppy to be a character, right? Because I'm working with these kids, and I'm like, that'd be cool if Sleppy was like a Sesame Street character. Wouldn't that be really cool? And I was like, how do I turn that into a show? Like, how do I make that a book? And I just kept thinking about, I want to do so much more than t-shirts. I'm like, I should get a team together. I should get a team of artists and creators of narcolepsy, and we should create our stories that we see in our heads. And then that will be the representation. It's no longer the time where we say that representation wasn't good for us. We created our own.
Yes. Wow. I love that. And we need more of that because we don't have that out there. And that's why I think we get so frustrated about seeing the misrepresentation. I was just talking to my mom the other day, and I was saying, I wish there was a way, and talking to Iris about it yesterday even, she said that she saw some what's the other word for Pokemon? That type of cartoons. And they had a story about a dad and a son with narcolepsy. And she goes, it was just so disrespectful. And it really upset her. Usually she's not really bothered by these things, but she goes, it was just so disrespectful. She was just like, how is this allowed to be aired in the first place? This is what has been bugging me all this time. What are the loopholes why the media industry is allowed to continuously misrepresent narcolepsy, which they wouldn't do with other illnesses? They wouldn't think to misrepresent someone who was an amputee or someone with a heart condition or anything like that. Yeah. So I love that you're doing this and that you have a team and everyone has narcolepsy and they're sharing their creativity. There seems to be something about narcolepsy, and the part of the brain that is affected seems to have a big connection with creativity, I found. There's so many people that I've met with narcolepsy who have a massive creative side, and there's something to do with lack of sleep that seems to have triggered that part of the brain. Tre, when did you start going on TikTok or social media? Did you get any negative things at the beginning? What was that like?
So imagine this. It's 2021, okay? And I say, you know what? It would be really cool to have my own clothing brand. So I create one, and I call that Sleppy. That's stylized as capital S, capital L, capital E, lowercase p, uppercase Y, Sleppy. It looks like the word sleepy. Some of the pieces that I have that drawing me as a character who falls asleep. Eventually, I get hit up by this company. They create viral videos about different topics. They're like, hey, we would love to use your video. I have this video of that wasn't getting its numbers up. And it was just about me documenting my symptoms. My hair was a lot shorter at that moment in time. And I just was talking about it. I just was like, hey, this is what it looks like when I'm experiencing excessive daytime sleepiness. I was out of it. And that video got traction. I gained a lot more followers on TikTok and other platforms, and to the point where this company wanted to reach out to me. Okay. So they're talking to me and I'm excited because I'm like, wow, this is what it means to be an influencer. I created something that people are resonating with. And now I'm going to be featured. It was such a great thing for me. I was like, this is so cool. It's going to help so many people. So they used some of my TikToks in this compilation video just about just describing what narcolepsy is. And it wasn't just me. They used several other people's TikToks as well. After that, I started to feel down about that experience because it wasn't a conversation regarding compensation. And I was like, wait, people get paid to do this, to have their videos on social media platforms. That's content. I'm making them money. They're using my TikTok and they're using other people's TikToks. They're going to put it on social media and then they're going to get the ad dollars from that. It's double-edged sword because now I'm like, okay, I'm raising awareness. Then I'm also like, I don't know if anybody else got compensated for that either. I started debugging, and around the same time, Sleppy, the clothing brand, started to evolve much more into what I originally started it as. I started to understand the mission a lot more. Before, I was just really obsessed with the way it's spelled, but then I started to find likeness in the way I was spelling it, the designs I chose. It was all just to have pride in narcolepsy, okay? It was to look at that stigma and say, you know what? I got something going on. And if you see me falling asleep in public, if you see this funny shirt I got on, you probably won't judge me, right? And I'm a 275-pound Black man, right? If I'm asleep in public, then people are going to assume some things. And there have been several times where I felt unsafe in public and other times where I've fallen asleep. And I just think it'd be really cool to have something on my body outside of a medical alert bracelet that just says, like, hey, this is fun and cheeky. I started to think, hey, Sleppy, the name Sleppy sounds cool. Around the same time, I started getting influenced by this character on the internet called Lippy. I'm starting to see all the kids be obsessed with this dude. He's just, hey, kids, what? Talking about random stuff. I could get into children's educational programming, right? What if I had a character named Sleppy? Then I started drawing that out. What would this dude talk about? He could talk to children about sleep disorders. He could have a whole crew of friends with sleep disorders. I decided to write a script on that. How would a typical TV show go? Upon talking to other people, I realized it's not as easy as I thought it would be. And step back, I've also been creating art since I was 18, even before that. It wasn't just always t-shirt designs. So now you got me trying to think of Sleppy becoming an actual character for children's educational programming. Then I realized I didn't get paid for this one opportunity. Now, so many other people get paid to do that, right? I'm just a guy from Iowa, and I would love to have an opportunity like that. A lot of it is opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So once again, being reached out to this publication and they had my stuff featured, and I was like, okay, this has got to change. Next, we talk about the representation in media in regards to narcolepsy. A lot of that discussion has been the representation sucks. Like, that's what we talk about, whether it be something from Disney, there's an old movie called Deuce Bigelow. Like, there's a bunch of just representations of narcolepsy and other sleep disorders that aren't respectful. And I've also been making videos on the internet since I was 18. I can educate people and create my own content. I can create the media I want to see while also getting a crew of people who have the same sleep disorder as me. I found some people because I found that video near me and I started becoming internet friends with them. I realized these people are so sick. I got a dude named Corey who is creating, he's creating this animated series. I'm so excited to see his project grow. And then I have just two other members part of the team, Gia and Tati. Tati's an author. Gia's an artist. I have Olivia. I have JoJo. And I'm saying all these names, and hopefully when it comes out, I can tag them and let them know I name dropped them. These are individuals, the sleep disorder, Narcolepsy Type 1. Okay. And they're also very creative. If I get all these people together, we could take the stuff we want to see. We can do everything everybody else can do. Just have an angle of a person with narcolepsy created this. The jokes aren't written by somebody without that sleep disorder. Now these are people who I want to be able to uplift and say, you deserve to be compensated for your work. A lot of Wake Up Entertainment came out of, it just was like, my people deserve to be like, what are you talking about? There's so many things at our expense, people with sleep disorders. I had a video on the internet of me bawling, crying. Like, the reality of having a sleep disorder like this, man, it sucks. Shifting in and out of reality, dreaming, and people not understanding you. I'm like, there's no way that we can't be properly accommodating. If you're going to create something about the sleep disorder, you should have the sleep disorder. Right?
Control the narrative.
People in a writer's room should have that sleep. You're going to be on a podcast talking about it. If you're a rapper and you name drop narcolepsy, narcolepsy isn't just some, right now, sometimes I feel like it's taken as a joke, right?
Yeah, definitely. They want to drop it all the time, anywhere they want to talk about anything to do with sleep. They think it's funny.
Like, that's not it.
Keep the word narcolepsy out of your mouth.
Not only that, but I got more like professional credibility as well after being featured on this podcast, BBC Radio Podcast 05.
Oh, yeah. I heard it.
With Helena Merriman. And it was about my story. So you got clout that way too. Are you telling me like my name is becoming more of a, people are like, oh, this is Tre Burge. This is what Tre is doing. And I'm like, all right, cool. I got something to prove. So I'm getting people together. Wake Up Entertainment functions as a collective at this moment of beautiful artists. We just so happen to have sleep disorders. And now here we are, 2024. Everybody's working on their own individual projects. We want to treat it as a marketplace where you can directly support the art of this person with this sleep disorder. Okay. If it just so happens, like Corey is talented in UX design. I don't really know much about UX. I hit up Corey and I'm like, my guy, do you know anything about this? I want individuals with narcolepsy to collaborate with us. I'm also writing a book. I want the book to be illustrated by an individual with narcolepsy. You get what I'm saying? Like, and be able to do it in the contracts and whatever, and be able to like, they get compensated anytime somebody buys this book. That's what that's a goal of mine. So imagine a book about a kid with narcolepsy, written by somebody with narcolepsy, animated by a person with narcolepsy. Like, it's just, it feels like the biggest flex for our community. I want to flex the rug, be like, you see, this is creative. Like, you see what we did there? We did that. Your jokes are like, what you did was, but look what we're doing. And Wake Up Entertainment is different in the nonprofits out there that are dedicated to raising awareness. They have a focus on support groups and educating, sharing stories. I'm just trying to have fun with it. I want to create a community. Content is king, right? Being able to create meaningful art, have that be the forefront of it. I have a goal down the road of getting so many people with narcolepsy and other sleep disorders together in an art gallery and getting art. Imagine that, full of people with sleep disorders. I'm a dreamer. We're all dreamers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to be able to tap into that. The bigger picture looks so bright that I had to tell myself, and then my business mentor had to tell me, everybody else in my life was like, all right, Tre, you got to slow down just a little bit. You got to break that apart into chunks, into manageable steps. And here I am.
You're writing all your ideas down, deal with them in manageable steps, bit by bit. Keep all your ideas together, work on them as you see fit. So Tre, when did you start your TikTok?
My TikTok started as Musical.ly. I was making videos on Musical.ly, like lip syncing to music videos.
Oh, okay.
That it was in college, and I'd say when did the merger happen? Musical.ly got bought out by TikTok and they transformed the whole app. My account was still there. So whatever followers I had on Musical.ly ended up following me over to TikTok. And that wasn't a lot either. It was like maybe 14, 15 people. And then I just was making goofy stuff. I didn't think about the concept of making content dedicated to sleep disorders till about, well, I ain't gonna lie. So the pandemic passing, and I'm still making videos. I'm sometimes making videos about being a parent, sometimes making funny videos that are, I think, are hilarious, but not, and I might crack a narcolepsy joke here and there as far as like saying something, but I never was like, let me only do this. Let me majority do this. And even still to this day, my TikTok is culmination of everything. I have no idea how to niche. People say you need to niche down, and I don't know what that means. I want people to look at my page and be like, this is Tre Burge, and he does so much stuff. It was hard for me to get on TikTok and be like, hey kids, I don't know how to, that part, I don't think I can tap into quite yet. Yeah, I'm sorry. I went on a tangent. You asked me when I started it.
When did you start doing the advocacy work connected to the TikTok?
21.
Amazing. I think it's nice that you have that variety on top, because it's like you were showing people that, yes, you have narcolepsy, but that's not the only thing about you. You've got other things going on in your life as well. And it's a hard balance to get that sometimes.
Especially when you think about the way people say content and digital marketers and everything. Tre, you got to niche down. I'm like, my whole existence, I'm a musician. I am a boyfriend with narcolepsy, a teacher with narcolepsy. You get what I'm saying? I'm a business person with narcolepsy. Creating the platform that I have right now, watching it grow is wonderful, because there are people who hit me up and they value the different sections of, if I'm talking about music, they might love that. I'm talking about how I feel about maybe an argument I have with my brother. They're into that. They're into me as a person, my personality. So it's not so much, I always say person first language, person with narcolepsy. I'm a person of Tre Burges who happens narcolepsy. That's where I'm at now. I still want to promote my music stuff too. I still want to promote art shows. And even though it might not get the audience I think it deserves, I'm doing something right, because people still message me, Curly, Liz, people are in my inbox telling me how much they appreciate my content. How can they be a part of the narcolepsy community? I just realized I like to talk in front of the camera. I'm going to show you, you look a slump, and I'm just going to be real with you. And that's what a lot of my supporters get from, I don't know how to put on a face. I'd rather just be myself. And if they mess with it, they mess with it.
I'm glad you're putting yourself out there, particularly as a man of color. What do you think about the lack of representation in narcolepsy community and how we could improve it? And you talked about people hitting you up. Do you have a lot of people of color hitting you up?
However, you hit a nail right on the head. Not a lot of them are Black men or people of color in general. If they are Black, they're men and women. About a month ago, somebody found my content and it was a Black man. I was just shocked. I went to the Wake Up Narcolepsy conference last year and met an older gentleman who was Black. I don't know what we can do about representation. I think me existing is representation within itself. So then when I create these videos and they have my face in it, or they have me and my Afro-textured hair and locks, that's great for the community. I want to create children's educational programming to show the Black and brown communities. People don't think we have sleep disorders for some reason. When you type in narcolepsy to TikTok, some of the most viral videos are the people who are white. And it seems like the internet or maybe the content are drawn towards people who are of color. Their videos are viral. They have 54,000 people. And I'm like, whoa, it's no shade to them. They're doing exactly what I'm trying to do as well. When I figure out representation, it's opportunity is the thing. I'm really thankful. I put in the work these last couple of years to be finding myself in situations like this. To answer your question, Curly, me doing this and getting myself out there is the representation. Hop on this podcast. Stuff for Wake Up Narcolepsy, Project Sleep. Yo, Tre, the Black dude with locks from Iowa. I am an anomaly. The one thing I didn't like growing up is I didn't see myself. I want people to see other little Black and brown boys. Like, oh my gosh, I have trouble staying awake too. Ultimately, the goal of Narcolepsy Navigators, Project Sleep, Wake Up Network is to reduce that number, right?
Yeah.
Just to reduce the time people are like, yo, something's up, and then going to the sleep doctor, getting a diagnosis.
I think you being out there and you showing and representing, hopefully that people, more brown and Black people, see this and say, yes, it's not Caucasian disease, it's everybody disease, and it can affect us also. Look, I see myself in that person. They have the same skin color as me. I should share my story too, or I get checked it out.
Would you want a newly diagnosed person to know?
Welcome to the field. It's not going to be easy. I tell them to tap in to try to find a support group if they ever needed anything from me and wanted to just vent in my DM section. It's going to be easy to feel alone in this. They're not alone. It makes me think about this hashtag. I think it was created by Julie Flygar. Narcolepsy not alone. It can be isolating to exist in a world where nobody understands and nobody sees what you got going on in media. It can be so isolating. Oftentimes I tell people with narcolepsy and I get the same response every time, unless they're like a med student or something. Everybody's, I heard of it. I don't want them to go through that. Let's find you some people who got what you got and chat with them, and that would be great for your mental health. I think mental health is a big one too. And when you got diagnosed, make sure you find a support group, lock in with some people you can talk to on a consistent basis.
How do you find managing your social life with narcolepsy?
Everybody in my social life knows I have it. What happens if they see me tired or sleepy? They know how to respond to it. And they extend tremendous amounts of grace.
Do you fall asleep in social settings, and do your friends know how to manage that?
Certain friends that manage it easy. Now, more specifically, my girlfriend, my partner, she is great this morning. I couldn't stay awake during church. I think people who don't even have narcolepsy fall asleep during church sometimes. Every time I went to church when I was younger, I always fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because I have a sleep disorder.
It just had a light bulb moment.
That's crazy. That makes so much sense.
It wasn't because you were bored. Could be the most interesting sermon, and off you go.
It's a relaxed environment.
I wish I attended one of those churches that are like very stereotypically Black churches where they just like jumping up all the time. Old school, the choir is always interesting. However, I don't go to one of those churches. I love my pastor and his wife. However, tell you something they did cool today, guys. I told Amber's my girlfriend. She says, yeah, we're going to sit next to the fan just in case he falls asleep when he gets hot. I felt so cared for and loved. And they adjusted the fan to sit so much closer. Turned off the oscillating feature, focused directly on me. Talk about accommodation.
It means so much when someone makes a little change like that, or like they just check in with you and say, are you doing okay? Do you need anything? It's actually, that's so nice, because people have their own shit going on. Like they forget, but when they remember, it makes you feel good.
Yeah. I have this bud who's a physical education teacher at the school I work at. I consider him a brother at this point. He saw me going through my episode one day and let him in, drink this stuff. He's a muscle guy, athlete. Gave me something to drink, some type of protein powder to keep you up. I was like, this is so cool. He was able to make a difference in my face. I speak about it so much, about what's going on with me. I'm sharing all my symptoms. He noticed another friend of mine, I consider him a brother, sees me going through it. It's basically, she needed, man. It's great. I don't have official, informal accommodations for my friends and coworkers, and they're so dope.
Can you tell us about any upcoming projects you're involved in?
I'm working on tightening up the script for the young Black girl with sleeping shifts in her dreams. Her classmates know about it, but it's a play on just whether she's a pirate one day, whether she's an astronaut one day. It's her realities are blending a lot. And then there's this element of it zooms back out, whatever she's experiencing. And then it says what the classmates are experiencing, which is her symptoms. So she just has an optimistic view on life. I want to figure out the best way to write that book. I even reached out to a publishing company to get that done. The big project I'm working on is From Falls Asleep. I'm also working on a project with high schoolers at a place called Iowa Big. And they're going to help me shoot, film, and direct a kind of get to know you video about me. I want to put in that video and just say, hey, I'm Tre Burge. I got diagnosed with narcolepsy. And I just like my intro video. I like the stuff that politicians do, like how a politician introduces themselves. This is who Tre is. I'm really excited to work with them. I'm also going to be having a gallery exhibit here in Iowa where I'm going to create some video content to go along with the interactive set that's dedicated to narcolepsy as well.
Last time we spoke, you mentioned being a panelist for Wake Up Narcolepsy.
Yeah, I'm also a panelist for Wake Up Narcolepsy here in April, till end of April. Gonna be out there speaking about my experience. Shout out to representation, y'all. Like, sometimes I've been confused about how I can do it. If there's a takeaway I want people to take as far as like how to be a professional with narcolepsy, my brain can't sit and rest. How am I trying to work on an art exhibit, a book, be a panelist, gallery exhibits and whatnot?
So that creates
have a difficulty sitting early. And it gets me out there too. All with the goal of me learning and becoming somewhat financially stable. So we're going to hope that I keep pushing throughout the years and I get enough support with what I'm doing. I recently created a Patreon and I'm thinking of allowing people to support me for $5 a month. I can give them access to the stuff I'm working on and they can get behind the scenes access. I think a big part of my story will be gaining some type of financial freedom through my work. Even though I don't get that now, I'm really blessed.
Important goal.
I can see a financial breakthrough coming in the future.
Hell yeah. Once Wake Up Entertainment grows, I want to see you and Liz. I think the more we are able to collaborate, the more we're able to stuff into the world and we share a mission. Your voice is so important. I just wanted to extend that to you and everything you're doing too. And Liz, you guys are dope. I really want Wake Up Entertainment to get big enough to have full-fledged movie shoots, TV shows and stuff like that. It's only going to grow. I can't wait to find that one person that's going to like, all right, cool. Here's this much money to produce this. What's I got going on, right? Telling your story, telling Liz's story, telling everybody's story, the art gallery. I want to be able to feed you guys, Brad Booth, runs the Narcolepsy Awareness Project. I just want to get out there and do a tour. We're going to go up. Narcolepsy is going to be dope, okay? See, this one is going to be cool. We just got to let the world know.
If you want to put your money where your mouth is on a good project, hit up Tre. He has lots of ideas. Tre, do you want to tell people your handle for Instagram and your webpage?
Currently on Instagram, it is shop. I believe my page is Patreon/He Falls Asleep. I'm not quite sure. I just set that up today. So the best way to get a hold of me is through my Instagram. Then I have a Facebook called He Falls Asleep. I'm working on the website, Wake Up Entertainment, just to have the other artists on there.
Watch this space, everyone.
Hey, you need to answer my question about where I can find a Sleppy shirt.
I was saying, because of what I got going on, I've never made like a financial profit from any of my shirts. And that's not necessarily the goal, I should say. I have difficulty running that stuff. I'm only one person on my projects. I'd yet to create a team of people who can help me get that out and create product to people. I will create something. You don't even have to order. Just tell me what you want and I'll create it for you. Until I get to where I can have a team of people, I'd rather create one-on-ones for people. And it's going to mean a lot more. I can create it and then you can have it and then rep it. Because honestly, the people who buy my stuff end up just being part of the movement. I want y'all to be models. You don't understand. Once I get some bread, Curly, I was going to call up Brad Booth up. Hey, if you got a piece, I was going to be like, any professional photography studios where you're at, because I want to get some pictures taken in your fit, right? That's the type of stuff I want to direct and organize. Can you find a photography studio or help an entertainment nonprofit for sleep disorders? We just need packaging. Like people to see what's up so they can get excited. I don't even want people to pay for the shirts. If I can get it to you for free, I would love to do that.
I'll advertise it for you. I'll put it on Instagram. I'll wear it on the tube so everyone can see it.
Other than that, it is www.sleppybrand.com. And I'll update that website.
And my final question, if you could press a red button and get rid of narcolepsy, would you do it and why?
No, I could never. This is sort of, it's ups and downs. It's got its rainy days. However, the amount of impact that I have, being able to share my story, me coming from nothing and trying to and be what I can be to people and the youth, I don't think I could have done that without the sleep disorder. However, it's such an integral part of who I am. I wouldn't go backwards. I don't like living a life like that, trying to go backwards. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. But you cannot convince me that, yes, there's probably those people who don't have support like I do. I understand other people's situations and why they might not want to have this disorder. Honestly, I had an accident where I hit my head. I felt really down. I didn't want to have it for sure. When I fall asleep with Dolby, I don't want to have it. However, it's caused me to be more empathetic, caused me to listen to people more, caused me to listen to my body more. It's caused me to do all these things that I probably wouldn't have done without the sleep disorder. I have to really pay attention to my surroundings and when I eat and my sleep routine. The thing that's helping me be a healthier person because of the limitations. Like I said, it's causing me to be more empathetic. Somebody tells me about their disorder, I'm more likely to sit and listen because I get it. No red button.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tre. It's been great having you on the show.
Thank you for being so patient.
Wait for this episode to drop. Show me whatever y'all need in order to promote it.
Yeah, definitely. So we want to thank Tre again for coming on and sharing his story. You heard where to go look him up and check out all his projects coming up. And we want to also thank his girlfriend for being so supportive. It's always lovely to hear when we're getting great support from people who love us. So happy napping, everyone.
Happy napping.
Views and opinions in these stories may not work for everyone. If anything you have heard is relatable, please see a doctor for advice. Thank you for spending time here with us at Narcolepsy Navigators. I hope you learned something new. Please share the podcast with others. You can find us on all platforms. See you next time when we delve into another person's story.